Hi everybody, welcome to a calculator tutorial in statistics, working with lists. Let's look at this example. Find the mean, the sample, and the population mean, the population standard deviation, sample variance, and the file number summary for this data. For this video, we will use the calculator. Alright, so turn the calculator on, and then first we hit stat. We should see this screen and hit enter to stat and enter. So we have that screen over there. Alright, now let's assume there's something in the list already and you want to clear it before we start. Make sure that we go and highlight the list, highlight L1 here and hit clear. It is clear, and then enter. Once again, highlight the list, clear, and enter. If you want to get back to home screen, second mode, back to home screen. And here are some useful key sequence. Second mode, get back to home screen, and if you want to enter list 1 or list 2, hit the second and then number 1 for list 1, second number 2 for list 2. As you see, there's an L1, L2, L3 on the top of 1, 2, 3 respectively. And if we want to get the last answer in the calculator, hit second and the answer key here. Right. Let's get back to this screen. Hit stat, edit. Right, now we just enter the numbers here. 12, 30, 32, 45, 50, 60, 60, 61. Let's say if you accidentally hit something wrong, just highlight that and delete. Only delete a number in the list. Do not delete when you highlight. When you highlight the list, never hit delete when you do that. Right. 61 and then 70. Alright. Now, let's go to this. Hit enter. Yeah, every time you hit the number, hit enter to go to the next row. Right. Now, if you accidentally highlight the list and delete, that list will disappear from the table. So in that case, what we do is we have to delete the rest of them. And here we just hit second, number 2, so to name them again. I think that will be enough. But if you accidentally delete a list, you have to clear everything on the right and then name it again. So that's complicated. So never highlight the list and hit delete. Only delete a number. Don't delete the name of on the top of the table. Right. So enter all the numbers here. Hit second mode to quick. So I'm just do the simple way first without the one variable statistic. All we do is we're going to add all this number up and then divide by the total number. The total number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we'll add everything up. To add everything up, hit stat. Second stat. Go to the tab that say math. Go down to option number 5. Go down to option number 5. That says sum. So go down to number 5 and hit enter. You see this. I just need to sum everything on the list. I enter everything in list 1. So sum, once again, second stat, go to math, option number 5, enter, and then sum everything in list 1 and divide by 9. That gives us the mean of 46.66667, right? Right. 6, repeating. The population mean will be the same. Right. Now, let's do the population standard deviation. So, in that case, we're going to use this formula, a little more complicated. So let's get back to the stat. By the way, there's simply a way to do this, but now I just want to get familiar with working with a list. So what we do is, next, we will sum everything on the difference of on this number to the mean, and then we square that and divide it by the number. In this case is 9, right? So with that, I go to the second list, highlight the L2, and we're going to take all of these values. So we take the values on the first list, subtract the mean 46.6666, let's say like that, and then square. So this will be the square variance of all of the different of those numbers with the mean. And when we hit enter, it calculates all of that already. Now, all we need to do is that we calculate the sum of xi minus mu. By the way, in this case, the mean of the population, if we use that, it's still the same thing. Also 46.6. If it is the population. Right. So we take all the values, subtract that mean, and then square. And then second mod. Now all we need to do is just add all of them up. Second stat. Go to math, option number 5. And I will add everything in list 2. And then we divide by 9. All we need to do is take square root of this. Square root of the last number. So just hit second answer. And we have that. So here, $17.68. Right. And then of course the same thing for sample standard deviation. But that is the long way. The quickest way is hit stat, edit, enter, and enter every numbers in list 1. I don't need list 2 anymore. I'm just going to clear it. Right. We only need one list there. Right. Enter everything in list 1. Second. Quick. Next. What next is we're going to use a calculator to calculate one variable statistic. So hit stat and then go to calculate, option number 1, and either you see this screen if you're using the TI-84, or you see this screen if you're using the TI-83 calculator. Right. So stat, go to the tab that say calculate one variable statistic, and the list is list 1, so just scroll down and calculate. So it calculate everything for us. So we have the mean, that because the population mean or the sample mean is 46.66. That's what we have. Population standard deviation 17.68. And if we use the sample standard deviation, that would be the S, 18.75. So the Greek letter are for population. So sigma is the population standard deviation, and S is the sample standard deviation. Right. Why we added the 5 number summary here. The minimum is 12. The first quartile 31, the median 50, third quartile 60.5, and the maximum of 70. Of course, we can do that easily, but the calculator also gives us that information. Right? Now, so that is a TI 84. Now, if we using a TI 83, so once again, hit stat, edit, and now we enter the numbers. 12, enter, 30, 32, 45, 60, 60, 61, and 70. Once we done second mode, back to home screen. Right, now same thing, stat, go to calculate one variable statistic, but this time we just gonna enter the syntax is one variable statistic, hit second number 1, so we do statistic on this one, hit enter, and we have the same information. Wait, that means we missed a number, did we? 12, 30, 32, 45, 60, 60, 61. Right, we got 50. Quick, and stat, calculate one variable statistic, this one. Right, so we should have the same thing. Population standard deviation, sample standard deviation, and then the 5 number summary below that. Right. Now, in this problem we asked to find the mean, so either population or sample mean is that population standard deviation. The variance is just going to be the square of this number. So all we need to do is just take this number and square is the variance. So it should be S square. That is the sample variance. So I just need to take that number. Of course, I can just enter the numbers and then square, but we don't need to do that. We just go to find where this sample is. So hit variable, go to statistic, and we look for the sample standard deviation, and then we're just going to square that. That gives us 351.75. So this is the sample variance, the square of the sample standard deviation. Right, so that is simple enough. Now let's go to the second example. Our second example, we have the group data here. So I have the class from 10 to 14. By the way, this let's assume the data is continuous data. So if we have 14.99999, it will be on the first class. So in that case, where we find the class midpoint, and that's called the xi, is the average of consecutive lower class limits. So the average of 10 and 15 is 12.5. So 12.5 represent everything from 10 up to 14.999999. Right. Next, the average of this 17.5, 22.5, 27.5, 32.5, and 37.5. So we find a class midpoint to represent the whole class. And now we're just going to use this as the first list, the frequency as the second list. Right. So again, I'm just going to use a calculator here. So here's that. Edit. Now I have something there already. Just want to clear it. So hit clear and hit enter. Now enter this number 12.5, 17.5, 22.5, 27.5, 32.5, and 37.5. Right? And the frequency I'll enter on the second list 10, 15, 30, 25, 20, and 4. Right? Once we're done, second quick. Now we still calculate one variable statistic, even though we have two lists. But only these are the values. The frequency doesn't count as a statistic. The frequency of the number, it just means the number show up 10 times. There will be 10 numbers in this. The values, of course, is between 10 and 14.9999. Those are the variables. Those are the values. Right. So we still hit stat, edit, stat, calculate one variable statistic, and we have L1. But this time we do have the list L2 as frequency. To hit comma and second L2. When we do that, we have all the information. So the mean, let's say in this case, let's use the sample mean 24.51 or 52, and this is sample standard deviation, so that's going to be S 6.59. Right? So that's what we see. That's what we use in the TI-83. Now on the TI-84, it will be same thing. It's good. I'm just gonna do this again so that I can check my answer too. Right. So edit. Highlight the list. Hit clear, and then enter. Right. And enter the number 12.5, 17.5, 22.5, 27.5, 32.5, and 37.5. Go to second list, 10, 15, 30, 25, 20, and 4. Once we're done, second mode, back to home screen. Right. Now stat, calculate one variable statistic. The list is the values from L1 and the frequency is from L2. And then just go down and calculate, and we should have the same thing. Right. Next, we have a problem that we find the linear regression line or the best fit line of this data. So to do that, we enter the x values in L1 and the y values in L2. I'm going to use TI-84 first. Stat, edit, enter, and now enter the values clear the list first. Clear. Right. Now, x 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Alright. And then the second 4, 7, 9.3, 13.3, 15.5, and 19.3. Alright, when we're done second mode, quick. Right, next we will find equation with best fit line or the linear regression. Alright, so to do that, hit the stat and then go to the calculate tab, hit number 4, and then you enter this screen on the TI-84 and this screen on the TI-83. Right, so stat, calculate number 4, linear regression, and use X for L1, Y for L2. Let's clear that because there's no frequency. So L1 for X, L2 for Y, that's it. And then go to calculate. Right, so I have the equation. Right, I will write that out, the equation of the linear regression line or the least square linear regression line or the best fit line. Y equal to AX plus B. A is 1.51. Let's use 3 decimal places. X plus 2.314. Right. So that is the equation of best fit line. Right. Once again, stat, calculate linear regression, L1 for X, L2 for Y, and calculate. Right, just give you this. By the way, if we want more information about this equation, about the best fit line and the linear regression, by the way, this is redundant because linear regression, we don't need a line because that is a line already. Alright, so if we want more information about this, we need to turn on the diagnostic, hit second, calculate. We only need to do this one time on your calculator. If you see this, if you see something else already, that means it's on already. So second, catalog, and then go to diagnostic, hit on, and then enter. You only need to do that one time on your calculator. Now let's do this again. Calculate linear regression, and we find the best fit line. Calculate. Now we see there's the R, which is the correlation coefficient, and more data to it. Right. So that's what we have for the TI-84. Now on the TI-83, same thing. Hit stat, and now let's just clear the list. Now we enter the numbers. L1 for X, L2 for Y, 4, 7, 9.3, 13.3, 15.5, and 19.3. Second mode, too quick. Now, stat, calculate linear regression. Okay, you see we have the same thing, but again we need to turn on the diagnostic. Second, catalog, right. Let's do this again. You don't have to type everything again. If you want to enter the last entry, just hit second. This work for TI-84 as well. Just hit second and enter. Do that again. We have the last entry, right? Let's try this again. Stat, calculate, linear regression. Yeah. Now we do have the correlation coefficient. Right, that. Now, next, if we want to estimate the y values when x equal to 10, so all we need to do is just put 10 in this equation and it's done, right? The easiest way to do that. By the way, if you want to write the equation, it is y equal to either TI-83 or 84, they have this option. Hit variable, go to statistic, and go to equation, regression equation, hit enter. That is the whole equation. Y equal to this is the equation of the linear regression, right? So we have that equation. Now all we need to do is, if this x is equal to 10, and that would be good, so we hit 10 store into x. Once again, 10 that key to x, and then go to let's just keep that, and then go to variable, statistic, equation, regression equation. We calculate all of that, and that's what we have. So when y equal to 10, when x equal to 10, y is about 17.45. So that's about right. Notice that when we do the estimate, the value should be within the scope of this. We cannot use this equation to estimate when x equal to 100. That's way out of this range of these values for x. Anyway, that's what I want to cover in this tutorial. Thank you for watching.